Hi, Instas, welcome back to the channel. And if you're new, welcome too. My name is Hinny. I'm an astrologer. And if you're new, you can subscribe if you like what I do. And you can give this video a thumbs up if you like what I do. Happy hump day. It's hump day as I film. And we are still in Virgo season right now. But in like 4 days, we will be in Libra season. So this video is for, of course, Libra season, and this starts around September 23rd and spans up until around October 23rd. And what is Libra then? So what is Libra? Libra is a cardinal air sign, and Libra is a masculine sign, and this is a sign that is ruled by Venus, so the masculine or air expression of Venus. And what is Libra season then? So we are now moving past the halfway point of the astrological spiritual year, and we are into then the beginning of the end of the astrological year. 6 seasons to each half, 12 seasons. And Libra season is a light season. Virgo season, which we are finishing up now, is a shadow season, and now Libra is a light season, and the first cardinal light season of that beginning of the end period. So this is I often describe Libra season as a kind of sword coming down. It is one of the big kind of crux points of the astrological year. So for many people, especially if you are a cardinal rising sign, so Aries rising, Cancer rising, Libra rising, Capricorn rising, Libra season can be one of the bigger volume seasons for you. And it is, of course, a season of judgment for many people. In many ways. In the tarot, the story of the tarot, the judgment card itself is very often associated with Libra. And this is, yes, the Libran expression or masculine expression of Venus. So we get a lot more of this friendly but firm kind of swinging of the sword, decisiveness, which people don't often think of or expect with Venus, but it can definitely come through. It's definitely an expression of Venus, this kind of wanting to be decisive or wanting to pass judgment in a very real or expressive or masculine or outward way. Anyway, one of the key messages that I have for this particular Libra season of 2024 is, I have my Libra green on, by the way, is that she's just left, but she's done her best to set you up for success. That's what I have, because as I film right now, Venus, yes, she is still in the sign of Libra, and as I've been saying on my channel, she has been, or she is, leading the astrological procession or the planetary procession. She's ahead of the sun right now. And so she's had, and she has a lot of say, so she does, Venus right now, in a lot of things. But when the sun does enter Libra, so when Libra season officially kicks off, she, at the very same time, she leaves Libra. So she leaves Libra and she jumps into Scorpio, or you could say she falls into Scorpio. Scorpio is the detriment of Venus. So it is said often in astrology that she does not like or enjoy being in the sign of Scorpio, which is Mars's sign. It's the feminine expression of Mars. We'll talk a bit about Mars as well today. But this kind of idea of the fall can, of course, be bad or negative for many people in many ways, but also it can simply be a reversal of things, or it can be a conversion or something converse to like the typical Venusian things that you might think of, or the immediate Venusian things that you might think of. So she might have something different for us. Anyway, I wanted to say also that there are two kind of periods of this Libra season that are better or more favorable for most people. And the first of those two periods is from now until like around October 1st. So, and also one thing I want to say is to hurry up. So for a lot of people, there's this message of hurry up, especially if you have something official going on or official that you need to tend to, or if you are a kind of mover or shaker, or you're having to get into a mover shaker kind of vibe, to hurry up with that, because Venus is not going to be in Libra for much longer. And as I just said, she is going to move into Scorpio, her detriment. Hiya, by the way, if you're just tuning in, do say hello if you wish. And so it's a good time to really get moving for some of us in the remainder of Virgo season, with that tying up of the loose ends and ticking the boxes, the last few boxes that might remain, or making the last few moves when it comes to any intentions or motivations or goals that you've been working on thus far this year. So this is message of like, hurry up. Because this kind of swinging of the sword that is Libra season can feel cold or harsh sometimes, but it's almost always from a space of fairness. So for example, if there is a deadline and we miss it, it's kind of like, well, what can we cry or complain about? We missed it. We didn't do everything within our power to meet that deadline. And so there are these kind of cold, sometimes, consequences. That's Libra season also. Also, the second season then that I think is going to be better for a lot of people is from around October 18th to the end of Libra season officially. So I'll say those two seasons again. So from now until October 1st, and then from around October 18th to the very end and beyond of Libra season. So they're the two kind of really favorable, juicy, kind of good, if you like, portions of Libra season this year. Now, the sun, as I said, or actually I didn't mention this yet, but the sun has his fall in Libra. So he's in Virgo now, and as he enters Libra, he's going to experience a bit less dignity, have less dignity astrologically, spiritually speaking. So I get this message for us of moving anyway. This is a very general Libra season thing, by the way, to make moves anyway, despite the consequences, because someone will always be upset, or someone will always get upset. You know, Libra heavy people typically are socialites. They've typically got a lot going on. They can be very typically in this mover shaker cardinal space. And a lot of Libra heavy people will relate to this, of being like overwhelmed or overloaded with promises or relationships, commitments. The diary can very much be full. And during Libra season, a lot of other people get this taste of Libran life, of like the schedule getting more and more filled up. But yes, when the sun is in Libra, it's kind of like this yes, kind of divine solar energy of wanting to be happy and be happy for everyone and say yes to everyone and everything. That's the sun. But when we put the sun in Libra, it's kind of like the scales, and needing to balance that out a little bit and check things a little bit, or check ourselves a little bit. And what you get is like having to cancel some of those plans. Or appointments, because we've said yes to too many things or too many people. Or it's like this social butterfly, she said yes to too many parties, right? And she has to kind of say no here and there. So it's going to upset some people or somebody, but we have to, in Libra season, do this. We have to, again, swing that sword sometimes in this time. And someone's going to get upset, but like, I guess the key thing is to do it in the gentlest way, or the most kind way that you can. But anyway, having to move ahead And that's a very like Libra season type thing. Someone's always going to be upset. And this can also be in other kind of air season type dynamics. So an air season very often can deal with like communications and announcements and like submissions of written things. And that can include like your opinion or your perspective or your input, and again, or your judgment on things. And again, people can be upset by that, right? Like we live in a world with billions and billions of people, and your opinion or perspective is not going to be shared in the same way as every other single person. But that doesn't mean that you need to be like demure, like too demure, right? It doesn't mean that you need to be too much of a wallflower. You can still express that opinion. It's just that maybe you do it in a way that is respectful, and hopefully that opinion will be respected the same. It's a very adult kind of season, Libra season. And yes, we do have also the sun as he moves into Libra, moving out of the mutable or double-bodied sign of Virgo and into this cardinal or initiating sign of Libra. So we also get this idea of, or energy of, we just have to get on with it. We just have to make a move and move forward, or make a decision, make a big choice in Libra season, despite the smaller details, or again, like these choices that we have to make that are going to upset this person, that person. It doesn't matter. We have to move forward now, move ahead, or we have to make a start or get a crack on something in Libra season. And so that's also something that is echoed from this moving out of a mutable season and into a cardinal season. And also another thing with this is that Venus, as Libra season begins, Venus moves into Scorpio, as I mentioned before. So this is her sign of detriment. And basically what this means very generally is that we are going to get a kickoff of Scorpionic vibes, or the beat of spiritual experience, and life is going to turn or feel quite Scorpionic, because Venus, she is the ruler of the vibe, the beat, and the way things are turning and spinning and circles and this kind of thing. So it's kind of like at the very beginning of Libra season, we can get these like Halloweeny, spooky kind of Scorpionic vibes already. So we can already get, it's kind of like the death card in the tarot. The death card is already making an appearance at the very beginning of Libra season. Now, around October 1st, yes, we have Venus moving into Scorpio, or already in Scorpio. And we have, excuse me, we have Venus making a trine to Mars in Cancer. So what I have here for us is like to just have it out. There's going to be this energy of just have it out. If there's something that you still like have on your chest, something that needs to be expressed, this time around October 1st can be quite good for you to just release it, get it off the chest. This is a perfect catharsis type of moment or opportunity for many people. And then around September 27th, these dates are not necessarily chronological, I just realized, but around September 27th, we've got Mercury actually moving out of Virgo and into Libra. And this is going to bring more of these definitive results and messages and verdicts. These things are going to come through. So again, if someone or some place, some institution has been faffing around, dilly-dallying with the result that you're waiting for, probably from around 27th of September, there's going to be more of like an uppick in the actual communication of information. And this is because also Virgo is the exaltation of Mercury. So maybe there's been a lot of like that dilly-dallying when it comes to really hyper-focusing on the internal or the miniature decisions. But now Mercury leaves Virgo and enters Libra, an air sign, a cardinal sign, and also Mercury loses some of that dignity and is kind of more, actually Mercury is neutral in Libra. So it's a calming down of that mercurial energy basically. So there can be more of a let's just calm down and reach a decision in terms of the communications. All right, we have as also a new moon in Libra season, of course, and this is going to be around October 2nd, and the new moon will be conjunct Mercury. So I'm going to obviously make a video, universe willing, on the new moon later, so look out for that on my channel. But the moon will be bringing light from Mars in Cancer, and I think that's very significant for this new moon and this kind of Mars Venus dynamic that we have going on, this square dynamic that we will have continuing through Libra season. And also I want to say from around October 4th to basically the end of Libra season, we have the sun in this square more intensely with Mars in Cancer. So that can be a very interesting or rewarding or challenging time when it comes to the more like disruptive or uncomfortable or conflicting energies. October 9th, then, we have Jupiter actually officially stationing to go retrograde in the sign of Gemini. And Jupiter will be making a trine. It's not the most strong or amazing trine. It's a relatively loose trine, but it's anyway a trine being made to the sun in Libra. So what I have here is that this is going to be the crunch time point, so around October 9th. For a lot of people, this is going to be like that playtime is over for a lot of people. I mentioned earlier the 2 periods, right, that are going to be good, like from now to October 1st and from October 18th to the end of Libra season. But this October 9th is in the middle of those 2 periods, and with a Mars squaring the sun as well. And also with Jupiter turning retrograde, it's going to be a crunch time, playtime over for those people, especially who have not been really getting into the Libra season typical stuff of the sword swinging and getting a move on with things. Playtime is over, but also this is like a boss kind of consolidation moment. So kind of this consolidation or bringing together of data and learning. So a lot of people may really be forced to or pushed into having to make use of what they know, the knowledge they have, and maybe they're having to put their knowledge to the test or demonstrate their knowledge as well in some way, in some big communicative way, perhaps. Anyway, we have the full moon later around October 17th, and this will be a moon making a conjunction to Chiron. So I have a message here of watch out. This is what I have as the ignored sword. So when the sword is ignored in Libra season, there's a criticality coming. And so that's why I have this message of watch out. It can be a very teachy type of full moon as well. We've got Chiron here. And again, with the death card kind of message that I had, and these Venus and Scorpio energies settling in really early on, I just get it can be that for some people scary or a kind of critical energy of watch out around around this particular full moon, because we have the sun square Mars, we have Venus around the full moon going anaretic actually in Scorpio, which means she's at the very last degree of Scorpio at the full moon, which is the 29th degree, and that is said to be when the energy of that goddess is the most kind of intense. And we have the sun square Pluto, so why not just throw that in as well? We've got the sun square Pluto in Capricorn at the time of the full moon. So I want to say it's not the easiest at all of full moons. Definitely for a lot of people more challenging than this current full moon that we're going through, this eclipse full moon, which is in Pisces as I film. I think the next one in Aries, this full moon, is going to be more felt in that harder or harsher kind of way. But anyway, let's remember that Venus ruled Libra is the divine instrument. Libra is the only kind of object in the zodiac, the scales, and so there can be a lot of using objects for our benefit a lot more, or instruments, and it can also be about superficiality and materiality. Saturn has his exaltation in the sign of Libra, so there can be a lot of trying to originate or cultivate things through really material things like money and matter. So don't be surprised if even in Libra and air sign season, there's a lot of earthiness or like practicality that comes through and is really pushed, brought to the fore. And what is cardinality? Well, cardinality is like a king or a queen, and cardinal energy, as I mentioned, is like initiation. So wanting to start things, expanding, or ever seeking more surface. And so don't be surprised if you get more into this kind of vibe and energy. Like if you're in business, for example, wanting to expand your business more in some way, or if you are a student, a researcher of some sort, wanting to learn more or feed a kind of thirst for new knowledge, that kind of thing as well can come through. And also it's more generally feeling like more of a boss or more of a leader in some sense, or wanting, especially in Libra season, to put how you think first, because this is an air sign season of ideas and thoughts, and it's a masculine season. So that's not surprising at all if people want to put their opinions first. That kind of thing. And this is cardinal air. So yes, it is like expanding a lot more in terms of communication. As I mentioned, this is a socialite kind of energy. Venus ruled air. So wanting to socialize more, party more. If you are some kind of networker, academic, for example, wanting to increase your contacts, that kind of thing. It's a great time, by the way, to go to like a job fair or a job market and actually be with and around people. Doing something very cardinal, but you're also doing something very, which is like socializing and interacting. Libra is also books, things like books, reading in all of its forms, and refinement. Libra is very much a sign of cultural refinement, whether we're talking music, literature, or you're going to have an interesting conversation with someone about something cultural or refined, that kind of thing. Libra season can very often be like a sort of very relaxed kind of jazz party or event, where everyone's kind of talking about like important things, or aesthetic things as well. It can also be a season of fashion shows and that sort of thing. Okay, what else did I want to say? Venus remembers. So a lot of the time, I mention this, I think, fairly frequently on my channel when I talk about Libra, but a lot of us think Libra is this very soft, feminine kind of, yes, but this is also masculine Venus. So we can often see this kind of iron fist in a velvet glove type of thing going on. And Venus, one of the many expressions of Venus, is a kind of burning or destruction that is based on, if I don't get what I want, I'm going to act out in a very tyrannical way, or I'm going to use this sword in a very destructive way. So these are sides of Venus we don't always think of or see, but they come through a lot in Libra season, and it kind of can be surprising. And also things like Reiki, these kind of spiritual or energetic arts like Reiki, this is paying attention, or like air magic, paying attention to the air and stuff like gestures. And as I would always advise in any Libra season, things like ventilation, very important, opening and closing of windows, and increasing or paying more respect and attention to the flow of air within your space. Masks and like filters and like aircon, all this kind of stuff can be coming up more in Libra season, and gestures again, yes. So paying attention to how someone uses their actual body, coughs, certain uses of the voice, certain literal gestures, which are going to give you these indications of I don't like you, or I do like you, or I don't like that, or I'm not about that, or I am about that. And Libra season can very much be a time where we get better at, or we read better, these subtle demonstrations of how someone actually thinks, or someone's perspective, or someone's angle. It's kind of like when you're talking about something tense or controversial, and you notice this person who's part of this conversation, they like readjust themselves in a chair, or there's like some kind of alteration of posture. This type of stuff is very Libran, and when you pay attention to it, you can actually read better comfort or discomfort. So it's a very like body language type of thing as well, Libra season. And finally, then the dragon year, the overarching dragon year type of energy. So this is what I will end with. So I have this message of like, I'm afraid I must politely decline. So this is Venus ruled air, cardinal Venusian energy, again, like expanding and ruling and wanting to gain more and more coverage. But also it's Venus. So Venus tends not to enjoy conflict when she can avoid it, or like if she's getting what she wants overall, she might not really want to be so conflicting. But we do have to decline and deny things. And so there can be this, in Libra season, this need for our diplomacy to be developed or sharpened or learned. So yes, this kind of, I'm afraid I must decline at this time. So figuring out how to say no in like Venusian ways, and how to decline without upsetting the other. So it's like diplomacy and like diplomatic victory as well. So I think in this dragon year, doing these things, making these declinations or declining these things, because there is something that you have to take care of or cherish or treasure moving forward, or something that you have to continue cherishing and treasuring. And if you let too much frivolous stuff get in the way, and you say too much of the time yes to everything and everyone, it can be much more difficult for you, especially when we get to Scorpio season, where we're forced to see in the mirror like the reality of our decisions. So that is that. I will see you in the next one. Have a lovely rest of the Virgo season, and I wish you a pleasant start to Libra season. Let me know in the comments where you have Libra in your birth chart, and let's talk about it. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.